Hello students, in our previous video we were discussing about the geography section, especially second chapter. The name of the topic that is a lithosphere, and in this lithosphere topic we had already completed about the a few things like meaning important of the lithosphere and how the rock cycle takes place, and few other aspects also have been covered in the previous lesson. Here in this chapter, further topics are supposed to be discussed. Let us understand. In our previous video, we had already completed our discussion regarding the forces of the earth crust. Earth crust is having the two kind of the forces. First of all, that is internal force. Next one is external force. And because of these two forces, then there will be changes on the surface of the earth. Already we know that earth is in the process of its own change, and that changes are occurring because of the two forces. One is internal force, another one is external force. And in this internal force, volcanoes and earthquake, these are the two topics already have been covered. In this video we are going to learn about the other important aspect, that is the external force. And again here in the external force we can it can be further divided into two parts, that is the weathering and denudation. And obviously we know that the weathering, it is very simple to understand. We will be discussing about the weathering. And in denudation, it covers river, temperature, winds, rainfall and glacier. So these are the important topic we are going to cover in this lesson. Let us continue. Here it is given, what is meant by weathering. The weathering is a natural process of wearing away or breaking down or gradual disintegration of the rocks by the agents like or natural agent like temperature, rainfall, winds, etc. present in the atmosphere. So this is they are talking. So in a common words, if you want to understand, now let us say this is the rock, and because of natural agents, obviously here natural agents are temperature, rainfall, winds, even glacier can be added up here. So as a result of this one, then this rock start to break down into small pieces, and that can be called as a disintegration. Disintegration means breaking into small pieces. Wearing away, that is also like a breaking. If once this rock start to break down into small pieces over a period of time, like 100 years, 1000 years also it may take, as a result of natural agent like a temperature, rainfall and wind, then this process means the process of breaking down the rock is called weathering. Obviously now how the soil is made up, how the soil is created, obviously because of the weathering. If there was no weathering process in this earth, then we couldn't see the soil. The soils are being formed as a result of the weathering. So this is called weathering. Now further, then weathering can be divided into three parts. First of all, mechanical weathering, second one is chemical weathering and biological weathering. So one by one let us understand what is meant by chemical weathering, what it includes, and in the case of chemical weathering, biological weathering, and what are the important differences between these three weathering. So this is the topic that we are going to have the discussion. Let us continue further. Called gorge, it is called, and this gorge is created by the river, and this takes place in the upper course. And remember here we are discussing about the landforms which are made in the upper course. First of all, already we know that V-shaped valleys, valleys are created by the river. Next one, gorge is also one of the important landform which is created by a river, especially in upper course. Upper course, it is a place where the river originates, and when soon after it originates, no, so certain landforms are created. V-shaped valleys that is created because when the water flows down, then V-shaped valleys are bound to be created. Canyon, another one. This is also the same aspect that we should understand. This is also one of the important landform which is created by river in upper course. Next one, example we can understand here, Angel Fall, and this is created in upper course only. And here, as a result of that one, many the waterfalls are created. Angel Fall, it's the best example. In the case of India, there are various examples. In the case of India, and Niagara Fall, it's not in India, but in the case of India, there are various waterfalls. And Niagara is also one of the important landform created by the river in upper course. Now let us understand another important aspect. Niagara Fall, we are discussing about the waterfalls which are created in upper course, and Jog Fall, obviously it is in Karnataka. Now let us understand about the middle course, and what is meant by middle course, and what are the landform created by the river at the river course or second course or middle course we can say. And remember, this is the place where the river originate, and here the many landforms are created, like V upper course it is called. Here V-shaped valleys are created, gorges are created, waterfalls are created. Now here, this is the place where which is called or which is identified as a middle course. Now the river enters the plain. Here obviously the land will be plain. Here there is no plain. Here the land will be plain. Because of that reason, the speed of the water will be slow down. But here the speed of the water will be very much high, or it will be increasing because of the height. Now in this stage, then transportation and little deposition is carried on. And remember, already we know very important aspect. First of all, when the river start to originate, and soil erosion is created. Soil erosion takes place here in upper course. Soil erosion means whatever the materials comes in its way of the river, like rock, mineral, or like a soil, and that will be carried along with the water while it's flow, and this is called transportation. Here also the transportation takes place because the land is little flat or plain we can say. Here also two important works are done by the river. Here obviously transportation takes place. Here also transportation and little amount of the deposition. Deposition means the whatever the material is brought down by the river, that will be deposited here, but not in a huge quantity, very less quantity. Here the river does the two important functions. One is transportation of the material, and little amount of the material which is brought on by the river, that will be deposited. So this is the two important works river functions here. Now, especially what are the important material soil is brought down by the river, that is alluvial soil. Here it is given alluvial soil and rocks which comes in a way, and alluvial soil is very rich for the agriculture. Because of that reason, the most of the people they try to have the agriculture nearby the river, because the river can provide so many facilities, like water will be supplied by the river to the agriculture land. Even soil which is rich for the agriculture, that will be also supplied by the rivers, that is called alluvial soil, which is very good for the agriculture. Next one, in the middle course, what are the important landforms are created? This is quite interesting. Mindors, remember here, this is the whatever the landform that is created by the river, that is called Mindors, and this process takes place in the middle part of the river, that is called middle course. Now let us understand in lower course of the river. So what functions that river functions at the ending point of the river, so that is we are going to have the discussion. In this stage, the slope of the river course is very minimum. so the river flows very slowly, because the slope means like height, means from tilting we can say. Okay, and the slope of the river will be very much minimum. Because of that reason, then water start to flow or continue to flow very slowly, because the land is very much flat. And because of this landform, then deposition work is done by the river. Deposition is the main work of the river here. The food plains, flood plains, natural levees, and oxbow lakes, braided cores, deltas. So these are the important landforms created by river at the third stage or lower course we can say. Remember, we are discussing about the functions or works which are done by the river. First of all, at the first beginning point or upper course, then river does the function that is called soil erosion. Erosion work is done, means the material will be carried along with the course of the water, along with the water. Then here in the middle course, obviously, so that deposition is also done, even erosion is also done. Transportation we can say. Here the soil erosion is called transportation. And in the case of the third stage or lower course of the river, then river does the work of deposition of the material which has been brought in by the river, along with its flow of the along with the course we can say. Here we can understand, when the river start to flow at the ending point lower course, then various landforms are created. This is like a flood. The land is very much flat, plain, and because of that reason, water start to flow in a broadened way. It start to broaden its course, and because of this reason, then flood like situation will be created. Next one, this is picture you can understand. In Oxbow Lake is also very important landform created by the river at the lower course of the river. Oxbow Lake means here this is the lake. Earlier the water was flowing in this manner. Now the river has changed its course of the water, and start to flow in this manner. And this is called Oxbow Lake. And this function is done by the river at the lower course of the river. Remember, we are discussing about the functions which are performed by the river along with the course of the river. So first of all, already we know that the first function which is done by the river, that is transportation, first work. Then first of all we can say erosion, soil erosion is carried, then transportation and deposition. So these are the three important works which are done by the river, and whenever it does the work, many landforms are created. Among them, Oxbow Lake is also one of the important function or landform created by the river at the ending point of the river, that is lower course. Now let us go on further. So what are the other landforms created by the river? Here we can say Oxbow Lake, earlier the water is flowing or was flowing in this manner, and the finally as a result of the speed of the water, it start to enter directly, and finally it will be created, it will be left over there only. Then because of that reason, this Oxbow Lake is created by the river. So this is the important function which is done by the river. And finally, another important aspect, the landform which is created by the river, that is formation of the deltas. Here the deltas are created. Deltas means, so this is the picture you can understand very easily. When the river water start to flow into small various branches, that is called deltas. Obviously at the ending point or at the mouth of the river, then river start to flow into the small or various branches because of the flat land or plain land, and this is called delta. And we can understand here Sundarban Delta is one of the biggest delta in the world. Obviously we can say this is located in India. Here is India is located, and Sundarban Delta is created by two important rivers. This is the question for you all. Which are the rivers made the Sundarban deltas? Okay, River Nile, the longest river in the world, that is also having its own delta. And here in the case of India, let me show you the answer. that is Ganga river and Brahmaputra river. These are the two important rivers. They create the Sundarban Delta, and it is said Sundarban Delta is the largest delta in the world. And this delta is created by the river, and here the deposition works takes place. Remember, whatever the soil we can get to see, this soil is very rich. Here the forest will be very much thick, and sundari trees are grown. And I will tell you how the sundari trees are they start to grow. The high mountains and polar region, the mass of the ice or snow is pulled down by its weight and due to the force of the gravity. And this slow moving of ice mass or snow is called. In the case of glacier, in the high mountains, then polar regions, obviously there are two polar regions on the earth, North Pole and South Pole. So on these places, obviously we can say on high mountains like Himalayan mountain or polar region, then mass of the ice or snow that is pulled down by its weight and due to the gravity force, we can say force of the gravity. And this slow moving of ice or slow moving snow is called glacier. So let us say here in the case of the glacier, then ice will start to move. Ice will start to move down because of its weight or because of the gravitational force. Here in the case of the glacier, then ice and some amount of the water can be seen. So that slow moving ice from the mountain to downside, that is called glacier. If you visit to the Himalayan mountain, this kind of the glaciers are very common. If you take example river Ganga river, it start to flow from the glacier only, and when the glacier they melt down into the water, then that will take the form of the Ganga river. So that Gangotri, it is an important glacier which is giving water for the river Ganga. So that before the river Ganga is created, it is Gangotri glacier. So that whenever amount of the mass snow or ice is moved from one place to another place because of two reasons, that is its weight and due to the gravitational force, that is called glacier. Here the picture you can understand, here the mountains are located, and as a result of two factors, that is gravitational force and weight of the ice, then it start to flow downside. Then types of the glacier that we have to understand. Continental glacier found in the polar region. Already we had discussed about the how many polar regions are there. Obviously there are two polar regions here on our earth, North Pole and South Pole. So that two polars and continental glacier we can say, and mountain or alpine or valley glacier found in a high mountains like Himalayan mountain. This is the best example for this mountain glacier. I am saying you the glacier can be divided into two parts. One is continental glacier which are located in the North Pole or South Pole, and mountain glacier, obviously mountains Himalayan glaciers are the best example for the second one. The many landforms are formed due to the erosion work of the glacier. They are Click, Horn, Ete, and many other landforms are also created. Here the best example, you can see the picture very easily. So these are the important landforms which are created by the glaciers whenever it start to flow from one place to another place, and the flow of the ice will be very slow. So that doesn't mean that we should compare the flow of the ice to the river. Here the river is a liquid and it start to flow very speedily, but in the case of the glacier, then the mass of the ice or mass of the snow flow or continue to flow very slowly. What are the important areas with regard to the glacier? Horn, this comes in the at the beginning of the glacier. Next, arete, rock strips, U-shaped valley. In the case of the river, V-shaped valleys already we have seen, but in the case of glacier it is changed to the U-shaped valleys. The picture I am showing you, and these are the important landforms created by the glaciers. Just you can put it on pause and you can understand very easily, so that you can understand the lesson quite easily. Now another important aspect, that is underground water, and this topic I am not going to cover in this video. I will make another video for this topic. So I would like to recommend you to see the video once, twice, as much as possible, so that you can understand the lesson quite easily. Thank you all.